This is it.
Wow, look at this place.
Still can't believe the deal we got.
Where's my room?
Right up there, buddy.
Dan Kaplan wrote a popular book some time ago, and he thought it meant his career could only go up. His wife, Linda, thought the same about her growing recognition as a painter. But then they had a child, Tommy, and 7 years passed without a new novel or art show. So Dan and Linda decided to spend the summer in a vacation home on the cliffs overlooking the Pacific, in an attempt to come together as a family and hopefully figure out who they want to be as artists, as people, and as parents. But the house they've come to has a checkered history. It hasn't had a consistent owner since the 50s, and there are some tenants who talk about seeing a figure out of the corner of their eyes, hearing whispers at night, and making choices they might not otherwise make. In The Novelist, you play as this disembodied spirit, watching the Kaplan family go about their days in this strange in-between home. You can't leave the house, and you certainly can't rest, so what better way to pass the time than sort through the letters, journals, scribblings, and even memories of the Kaplan family? And if it seems the Kaplans are indecisive about their future, maybe you can whisper in Dan's ear to influence his choices. Do you want Dan to spend more time on his second novel than with his wife? Should he cancel his son's sleepover when an old friend comes to town? Does he go away to promote his new book, leaving Linda to attend her grandmother's funeral by herself? There is no right or wrong answer, no preferred outcome. It's up to you to choose who you are as an influence and where the Kaplans end up as a family. Are you a benevolent force who wants them to stay together, or do you inspire them to make choices that actively drive them apart? The Novelist is a strange game because you aren't told which choices have more value, which ending is the good ending. It's up to you as an empathetic human being to bring your own experiences to the table and make the choices you think are best. That said, this is a game of strict progression. The Novelist consists of 3 chapters, each containing 3 episodes, and in each episode you explore the house and uncover the current state of the Kaplan family mindset. Each character, Dan, Linda, and Tommy, wants something at the end of an episode, but you can only choose one. If you've uncovered all the available options, it's possible to make compromises between characters, but ultimately someone always comes away disappointed. With its limited number of outcomes, the game's strength is not its ability to inspire emergent play, but rather emergent thought. The choices as presented are often binary, simple. What complicates them is the player's personal experiences, how closely they can identify with the characters in the game. For example, someone who moved around a lot as a child will sympathize with Tommy's problems more than a player who grew up with a stable home life. With each dilemma, you go through a series of questions. What does the game want from me? What do the characters want from each other? What do I want? What would I do in their situation? The only way to make the right decision is to follow the breadcrumbs into the magic circle and earnestly consider the reality of these non-real problems. With that in mind, the mixed critical reception of The Novelist makes sense. Every interactable element within the game is in plain sight at all times. The only true mechanical challenge comes from a stealth mode that the game allows you to opt out of at the very beginning in favor of story mode. The only thing that changes in stealth mode is that the Kaplans can see you, so you have to move around between possessed objects to avoid their attention, and if they see you too many times, you lose the ability to influence them. While this does add a more game-y element of play, thematically it just doesn't fit. It turns you into a tangible force within the game world, an entity with a presence beyond the player's perception. The Novelist works best when you as the player are unsure of your place within the game. Are you a ghost? The house itself? Are you, in fact, the novelist that the title is referring to? It's in story mode, where the mechanics best serve the metaphor. There aren't that many endings to The Novelist. Dan and Linda always stay together, and their son always grows up. Some have interpreted this as the ultimate failure of the game, but the reality is that the course of our lives never hinges on any one decision. But there are periods that you remember like a chapter from a good book, and in retrospect you realize how important they were to your future. What you influence in The Novelist, perhaps as the novelist, isn't the immediate material wealth of the Kaplan family, but rather the quality of their relationships with each other. It's only at this level of understanding that you accomplish the game's true goal, asking questions about yourself. Do you care more about family or about art? Must you always get your way, or are you willing to make compromises? In this way, the novelist excels at being a question only the player can answer.